Today's Friday. Happy Friday. So today I'm going to start out by going over the upper level water vapor imagery. Kind of gives a good overview of the upper level flow in the atmosphere. As you can see, we have a upper level low over Mexico right now, with the remnants of that low pressure system that never really developed. It came all the way around. Let me draw on this. All the way around, went down here. Roughly, it went a little bit further north than that, but never really developed into anything other than bringing heavy rain this area here. So we have another upper level feature or mid level feature moving back over Florida right now, with a pretty stout ridge of high pressure encompassing a good portion of the U.S. On the northern fringe of it, you can see the enhanced moisture fields and what looks like mesoscale convective features moving through there. If I move over to the long wave infrared, you can see better the higher cover cloud tops along this boundary here where the heaviest rains occurring, especially over Panhandle, Texas, western Oklahoma, the border of Oklahoma and Nebraska, if I remember right. Sorry, my states aren't the greatest still. Anyway, this ridge is forecast to really stay this way or even get more robust in the coming days, which will ultimately lead to very high temperatures in the next 7 days. Next, I'm going to talk about the hot temperatures and what they'll be. The real field temperature, which is your heat index plus what the actual temperature will feel like. As far as high temperatures go, this is the day one maximum temperature forecast for today, ending today at 8 p.m. Large majority of the country, 80s, 90s, 70s in the northern tier of the United States and the Northeast along the Great Lakes. Day two, heat builds back into the northwestern plains, in the hundreds in the Midwest, down to the deep south, and over the majority of the country except for the far northern tier. Heat builds stays about the same in the hundreds, 90s, builds even further north into up in North Dakota, South Dakota, along the front range of the Rockies and to the west of the Rockies. And the only areas that might be spared these temps is the northeast quarter up into the Great Lakes, upper, just the northern 1/3 maybe or 1/4 of the country, and some areas in the Intermountain West, of course, higher terrain, things like that. Heat just a little bit further eastward, but really hot still over a good portion of the country. Cools off a little bit on the northern tier, And by day 7, it's still really hot, especially in the middle part of the country, with temperatures staying at around 100 degrees. As far as what the models show the heat index will be, let's see. Move forward in time here. This is about 3 a.m., 5 a.m. You can see the index values getting over 100 degrees in the deep south here, and a good portion of the southern tier of the United States is going to be heat index will be at or close to 100. And the only saving grace for along in the Midwest is maybe a little bit lower dew points. We go forward in time here. Of course, the heat index values go down overnight. They just get even worse. Next day, which is tomorrow, you can see a lot of 100, over 100 heat index, good portion of the country. Sunday, even hotter in the south. Heat index really is way over 100 for a lot of places. Approaching 104, 105, 103. You can see those numbers are pretty widespread. Next Monday looks to be one of the hotter days of the period as far as heat index goes. Projected to be 104 heat index values in middle Georgia Monday. Going through in time here. Really, really hot. All the way up into the Great Lakes area, Illinois, Missouri. But yeah, heat index value is approaching 106, 105, all the way up into near Chicago, and 107 down in Florida. So, of course, the areas in the northern tier especially aren't used to this hot temperatures, so these people have to be more prepared for this kind of thing. Move forward in time to the next day. Projected to be in 111 here. Heat index. A little bit cooler in the southeast, likely due to some precipitation on that day. And this is Wednesday. Not getting even down past the mid 70s up there near Chicago. Again, very, very hot in the middle of the country. Widespread 100-degree heat index values next Thursday. And this is like, I don't know, 8, 9 o'clock at night. Something like that. Still very hot. And this is next Friday. Widespread 100 heat index values are a good portion of the country. My goodness, it's going to be really hot. So let's go through to Saturday. See, the values tend to cool off some along the northeast and into the deep south, southeast. It still remain really hot in a good part of the country. So the general theme of the next 7 days is really hot and humid with just, as I always say, don't work outside when it's really hot. And if you have to, take extended breaks where UV protection, and just be careful out there. As far as future precip goes and the radar, what it's well, this is the high GFS models first approximation for what it thinks where precip will be um, from this model run. You can see you have this areas right here that's along and to the south of where this ridge is. Another ridge to the north here. And so as we go forward in time, move this off of there. You can see what's left of that tropical system. See the precip staying in the middle part of the country for the most part, but then high pressure system builds in a little bit to the south. In the GFS model wants to develop a low pressure system like along a stalled frontal boundary. Let's see, this is the 22nd, which is Tuesday. Not unlike what we had happen recently. It doesn't really do anything with it, but you can see the broad scale features here. And this is dictated by the upper level pattern. If we go back for the mid level pattern, you see broad high pressure here. A good portion of the U.S. jet stream really far north. We go back in time to the beginning of this run. Same thing really. Very zonal flow with only small perturbations moving through, and a strong low pressure system really up in northern Canada, which will likely cool things off on the northeast and along the upper north, the northwest part of the country. But the majority of the U.S. be stuck under the persistent ridging here. This trough moves offshore. This ridge builds even more, but we have more of an amplified flow now. With a large low pressure system up in Canada and perturbations moving through the flow that may enhance rain chances wherever they go through. We see this ridge is very persistent with this upper level feature off the coast here, west coast staying there, and kind of a split flow, and then kind of coming back together up along the northeast. And you can see this energy maybe move back through the flow down here that I was showing you on the precipitation map, and what the GFS thought the radar would look like. But along the boundary, wherever there's a boundary here, is where we're going to see the most precip. And so what the forecast precip is over the coming days, we can see forecasts. See where the majority of the precip, total precip, this is total starting meaning today at 8 p.m. So it started yesterday at 8 p.m. In theory, you see the majority of the rain is going to be along the mid-Atlantic to the Mississippi Valley and move forward in time. That's where the majority of the precip is going to fall. And wherever this sets up, there's going to be flooding. This down here is from where the tropical system. This is total accumulated precip. over that period of time. We're talking between 3 and 5, maybe 6 inches of rain in some of these areas. You go a little bit further out, not much change except a little bit expansion of that. So you can see where the fringes of the ridge are, and down the southeast. This we're not looking in the deep south. We're really not looking to get a lot of precip in the short term. Well, there may be some more coming back on the Gulf Coast later in the period. Now, as far as what the Weather Prediction Center highlights is the highest risk areas. As far as the excessive rainfall load from the Weather Prediction Center, this is up until about 8 a.m. today. Large, marginal, and slight risk. Where the slight risk along the Gulf Coast is where that system came onshore, or potential tropical system never developed came onshore. So then you have this areas along the boundary. Moving to day one outlet, we have a moderate risk along the Maryland, Virginia border, and really small moderate risk there with a bigger slighter risk surrounding it. You can see all these slight risks, and this is from down here in the desert southwest, Intermountain West. That's likely due to some monsoon moisture. Very large slight risk for tomorrow till Sunday in the mid-Atlantic to Mississippi Valley, and then another slight risk for excessive rainfall in the same areas and some in the upper Midwest, and one risk in the Northeast and desert Southwest. So today we got this flooding. This area has been inundated by rain lately, and so I have a feeling this risk is higher because the soils are so saturated. So, like I always say, turn around, don't drown. To finish this video out, I'm going to talk a little about the tropics and my thoughts on what's going to happen in the next week or two, and also share the Climate Prediction Center's outlook on what they think is going to happen. Stay tuned. Okay, so just a quick update on the tropics. This is the global tropic hazards outlook issued by the Climate Prediction Center for the next 2 weeks, a week 2, 3 weeks actually. So they really don't think there's going to be any chance of development, at least right now, in the Atlantic Basin in the next 3 weeks. And that's not unusual this time of year, really. And the Pacific Basin is usually more active. But they did note that the MJO is going to be moving into a more favorable pattern, possibly towards the middle of August for the Atlantic Basin. And that's usually when the Atlantic Basin starts to be for prime time for the main development region, which is out here in the tropical Atlantic. And temperatures start to get warm enough, sea surface temps, to support that. As of right now, you can see this is mid-level winds and dew point at the mid-levels. And what you want to see for tropical systems develop is the greens, like in the Atlantic Basin, especially when you have these really dark browns. It's in like a really dry air, and you have what happens is you have dust storms that blow off the Atlantic, off the Africa, and that dry air dust prevents sunlight from filtering through, and it reduces um, convection really, and the air is just really dry coming off Africa when you have these dust storms. So as you go through in time, you can see a lot of dry air coming off Africa, except way down along the intertropical convergence zone, and with pockets of moisture moving off. Um, this isn't the only factor. I mean, if you have dry air aloft, with this really prevalent, except for maybe right there, moving through the pattern, it's like possible we could have maybe something there. You can see different pockets of moisture moving off, but the majority of the air is dry off the coast of Africa. So one of the things that a few people have been talking about, and this is the last thing I'll talk about, is the GFS, and it's thinking about maybe developing a system off the coast of the United States, like in a few days, the East Coast, going back. Let's go through time here. Let's see, it wants to develop low pressure off the coast here, kind of move it south. Also wants to develop maybe something here in the Atlantic Basin, a weak low moving through the flow here, but never really does anything. And the winds get quite strong in this area. And you can see the deep flow, and there's a low pressure like moving way up here off the northern Africa. But the flow in the Caribbean is really strong right now. And this low pressure system that it tries to develop doesn't really do anything. As far as the European model goes and that low pressure, let's go back in time here. This model also has this possible little perturbation in the flow, but doesn't really do anything either. So as of right now, I don't see any evidence to support any tropical development in the near future. But we got to keep an eye maybe on the East Coast here, see if something does develop in the next few days off of there. Just like happened a few days ago where we thought something was going to develop. But as we get closer into August and September, that's when stuff really ramps up in the main development region. So we'll likely see an uptake of tropical activity at that time. So that's all I got for today, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.